Today's breakdown is brought to you by NFL Game Pass. All of our film analysis would not be possible without access to NFL Game Pass, so get to gamepass.nfl.com to sign up for the upcoming NFL season.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is here.
For the first half of 2019, future Hall of Famer Frank Gore was the Bills' bell cow at running back. They needed a seasoned running back like Gore to lead the way and set an example for third-round pick Devin Singletary. Gore did an admirable job of keeping the Bills' offense on schedule, ripping off a respectable 4.3 yards per attempt through the first 7 games at age 36. But every time Motor touched the ball, he did something special. When the Bills needed an explosive play, it was Motor that provided in 2019. Singletary had 14 runs of 15 yards or more per Pro Football Focus, which was 4th behind Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs. And that was with him missing time in the first half of the year. His vision and elusiveness were on full display every time he touched the ball. Once fully healthy, Motor became the lead back, which meant that a lot more was going to be on his plate. And the more reps he got, the more film people got on him. And that's when teams began to challenge him as a pass blocker, one of the biggest question marks about the rookie coming into the season. Motor played in an offense at FAU where he only blocked 12% of the time and mostly against average talent. And as we all know, NFL defenses are much more complex, as are their protection schemes, which is why having Gore in the running back room was incredibly important to Motor's development as a pass blocker. Gore's awareness and mental processing in the passing game were crucial. Here you see him aligned in the A-gap as the Browns show a double A-gap pressure. You see Gore communicating to the offensive line which rushers are coming off the right side. The Browns are showing man coverage, so there are 3 possible rushers off the right side and 3 off the left side. So Gore is blocking to the man side of the protection. Gore has the A-gap, so he attacks the line of scrimmage, keeps his inside foot up while playing the inner half of the player. He plays with a solid base and is able to withstand the power from the linebacker, allowing Elam to get rid of the ball. Running backs are supplemental to pass protection. They are generally add-ons in case the defense sends an extra rusher or when a lineman needs help. Gore routinely help fill these roles. Here, Gore and fullback Patrick DeMarco assist in a 7-man protection. Typically, DeMarco would insert and block off of the edge of the tackle, with Gore falling in line off of DeMarco's outside shoulder. On the snap, Gore has his eyes on Adams as a possible rusher, but as the backs approach the line of scrimmage, DeMarco's eyes wander, and he misses the inside linebacker rushing. Gore has his back, and he lays out the rusher. He not only executed all sorts of protections, but he has seen just about every blitz and pressure possible, like this cross dog creeper pressure from the Dolphins. Gore scans the defense pre-snap, and as the ball is snapped, the linebacker tries timing it, but Gore and center Mitch Morse are all over it. The rusher attacks the weak side A-gap, attempting to disrupt the protection to get his teammate one-on-one with the running back. Gore attacks the line of scrimmage and processes on the fly. He utilizes the overlap technique by putting his hand on the center's back to let Morse know where his help is, all while keeping his eyes on the secondary rusher. The linebacker loses his will to rush once he sees Gore standing his ground, and the pressure is neutralized. Gore did most of the lifting and pass protection the first half of the season, but Motor was soaking up all of the knowledge he could from the veteran. There were several instances where he showed off his awareness as well, like this play in the game against the Dolphins. Elam recognizes the pressure the Finns are sending, having seen it earlier in the game, so Elam changes the protection. The identification alerted Motor to bypass a play-action fake because the Finns were sending pressure off the edge. Motor attacks the corner and stones him, allowing Elam to set and throw a beautiful touch pass to Duke Williams. But consistency is the key at the NFL level, and Motor had some up and down moments recognizing what defenses were sending and execution. Take this play for an example. It's a 6-man protection with Motor executing a dual read. So in this protection, Singletary has to scan from the designated Mike to Sam defender. Those defenders in this protection are dependent on who the QB or center identify as the will. The Eagles are in a 4-1-6 dime look, and it muddies up the read for Motor because identifying who the defenders are is difficult. Eric Wood told Cover 1 that in these goofy fronts on 3rd down, it's less about labeling them Mike, Will, and Sam, and more about identifying who the defensive linemen are, and then figuring out based on the front who will be the most likely to rush. The Eagles have 4 defensive linemen in, and the solo linebacker in a 2-point stance over Quentin Spain. So the defensive linemen are most likely to rush, with linebacker Nate Gary in a close second. So the line slides to their right towards Fletcher Cox. Dawkins has to help protect the gap to his right, which leaves Barnett unaccounted for. The Eagles got the protection they wanted, and the rookie blew his assignment. 2 weeks later, the Browns test the Bills in a similar manner. The Browns are in a traditional nickel personnel grouping, with linebacker Joe Schobert stacked over the A-gap. The home team has 3 possible rushers to the right of the formation, and 2 to the left. Of those 5 defenders, 4 are defensive linemen. Morse points to the safety capping the linebacker, who has walked out over the tight end. This is a sign that the Browns may be sending a rusher from the boundary. If that linebacker Mack Wilson rushes, he will be the 3rd defender to that side and will need to be accounted for by Singletary. On the snap, Schobert and defensive end Chad Thomas drop out, but Wilson rushes as the Browns send a creeper pressure. Singletary recognizes it and picks off the rusher, allowing Elam to rifle a pass into Andre Roberts. Another 3rd down play, another odd defensive look, this time in week 11. The Finns' personnel groupings are blurry under former Patriots defensive coordinator Brian Flores, so determining who is likely to rush versus who isn't can be tricky. But on this play, the Bills have an answer. Based on the 5 defenders up near the line of scrimmage, the line goes to a 5-0 blocking scheme, which is essentially man on man. So Singletary is responsible for the 6th rusher if and when one shows. Prior to the snap, the Finns show man across the board with a single safety up high. So Singletary is really only worried about one defender rushing, and that is the defender who appears to be lined up over him. On the snap, that rusher blitzes, so Singletary steps up and meets a defender in the hole. Now, his technique isn't perfect. Typically, you want your inside foot up, shoulders square, and center of gravity low, almost as if you're about to sit in a chair. But it doesn't matter. Motor picks up the rusher, and Allen hits the rookie tight end for the touchdown. While his shoddy technique and strength weren't much of a factor on that play, as he saw more playing time, it became something that teams schemed for. More and more teams sent their linebackers by design or by green dog blitzing them, meaning if Singletary blocked on the snap, that defender responsible for him could attack the quarterback. And when they did, Motor had trouble consistently stoning linebackers like the offense needs him to do. Motor allowed 2 QB hurries and 1 QB hit against the Broncos. Fortunately, Allen bailed him out. The Broncos sent linebacker Alexander Johnson, a 6'2", 245-pound linebacker, right at Allen 7 times, and Motor struggled. All 3 pressures by Johnson came against Singletary, and it was because Motor's technique was wrong and his strength was no match for the big linebacker. Motor was thoroughly outmatched on this touchdown pass to Cole Beasley. Johnson transitioned to power as Singletary struggled to get his head inside, keep his shoulders square, and ultimately anchor. Johnson plowed through the diminutive back and laid a hit on Allen soon after the release. The following week against the Cowboys, Singletary was slow to recognize the safety blitz, even though he had picked up a similar pressure against the Browns. This is another dual read for Motor, as he reads the Mike to the Sam. Morse points out the Mike linebacker Sean Lee, and as you can see, Lee is lined up over Knox with the safety in an aggressive posture on the edge. On the snap, Robert Quinn slants inside, and safety Darian Thompson rushes off the edge. Motor slowly slides across the formation, first looking to Lee, but Lee drops into coverage. By the time he realizes that Thompson is rushing, Thompson has the edge. Thompson trips Allen up, and DeMarcus Lawrence helps finish the play. Gore didn't have that issue the following week against a similar pressure and one that was disguised much better. Here you see the defensive back pressed up on Knox and the edge rusher aligned out wide. On the snap, the defensive back and edge defender rush Allen, but Gore quickly slides across, steps up, and neutralizes the defender. It was these kind of pressures that stressed the Bills' protection. It not only put stress on the running backs in protection, but it soon became a numbers problem, and it led to a lot more pressure on Allen, something that he doesn't handle too well. Like on this play where the Ravens show 7 defenders within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage. On this slide protection, Singletary is being asked to come across the formation. As he comes across the formation to pick up Earl Thomas, the defender likely responsible for him, linebacker L.J. Fort, mirrors Motor, and as soon as he reads that Motor is blocking, Fort inserts as a rusher. Motor has his head outside and is lunging at Thomas. Thomas easily beats down the inner edge to get Allen off the spot. Allen looks to escape the pocket and make a play on 3rd and 4, but Fort is there to end the drive. But I will give Motor an A for effort and finish. The Ravens blitzed Allen 70% of his dropbacks in Week 14. They stressed the Bills' protection and forced Allen to process quickly and make throws into tight man coverage. Singletary brought the same want to on this play where the Ravens show 8 in the box. They aren't hiding their intentions either. A defensive back is pressed up on Knox, and Thomas is likely down in the box, responsible for motor. So John Feliciano and Cody Ford are responsible for the 2 defenders likely to rush off the right side, with Morse, Spain, and Dawkins responsible for the 3 defenders likely to rush off the left side. That leaves Singletary responsible for Chuck Clark, who is mugging the strong side A-gap. On the snap, motor fills. While his technique is slightly off, he does enough on this 3rd and 2 play to stunt the rush long enough for Allen to hit Beasley for the first down. But in crunch time, when the Bills needed a play, motor appears to blow the very same protection. For some reason, he kicks out wide to pick up Thomas, when he should have been in the A-gap picking up Clark again. On the snap, you see the right side of the Bills line slide to pick up the 3 Ravens rushers, while the left side kicks out to pick up the 2 rushers. But this time, Singletary blew his assignment and the play doesn't stand a chance. Missed assignments and pass protection is expected of rookies, but I would like to see him clean up his technique and his strength. There were just too many instances on film where he lost one-on-one battles due to poor technique and the lack of power. This was abundantly clear in the wildcard game against Zach Cunningham, a big, long athletic linebacker. Motor continued to lunge and it exposed surface area for Cunningham to exploit like he does here by just clubbing Singletary. Motor had one of his worst games as a pass blocker, and it was a game that the Bills had to use him on 9 plays in pass protection, the 2nd most snaps in pass pro all year. The Bills didn't have a choice. The home team was generating a ton of pressure from exotic looks that gave the Bills offense issues in protection all year. On this play at the top of the 2nd quarter, he does a great job of picking up the delayed rusher as he worked to the nub tight end side of the formation, but John Brown isn't able to get his feet in bounds. That pickup by Motor didn't stop the Texans from attacking the Bills' nub tight end protection later on in the game. With 2 minutes on the clock and down 3 points, the away team faced a 3rd and 13 situation. The Bills send out another nub tight end set. This time, the tight end is Lee Smith. He and Motor are working together to pick up the edge defender Whitney Merciless and linebacker AJ Moore. But Merciless doesn't just rush upfield with more blitzing inside like they did on the previous play. This time, they run a twist and it confuses Smith and Singletary. Smith is unsure if he's supposed to stay with Merciless, and Motor blows by the edge defender when he should have picked up the rusher coming through that inside gap just like the last play. Devin Singletary is going to play a major part in the Bills' offensive plans in 2020, but in order to be an every down back, he will need to improve his play strength and pass blocking technique. Given his mindset, I fully expect to see him improve in these areas. During a recent Zoom press conference, pass protection was the first thing that Singletary mentioned when it came to evaluating his rookie season and areas that he needs to improve.
Man, to be honest, I felt like I need to do everything better. Year to year, that's what it's about. You always want to be better all the way around than you was the year before. So I would say everything. I got to be better at pass blocking, catching the ball out of the field, making my reads, whatever it may be. I got to be better at all that. There's always room for improvement. So I really went back and looked at everything as far as that. So that's my goal this year, is to be better than I was last year and help the team win in any way that I can.
Motor appeared to put in a ton of work this offseason, and head coach McDermott has noticed it. Coach McDermott told the media recently that Singletary has changed his body composition, and that he's been very impressed with that over the offseason. He also expects Motor to come back a year more mature, and to continue to raise his game. He will need to continue to raise his game because Zach Moss enters the equation in 2020. A guy that is bigger and built much differently. But as we all know, he'll be eased into the scheme, specifically from a pass protection standpoint. He has a lot to learn, and I'm not sure that he is that much better at recognizing exotic looks and pressures. Here's what Coach McDermott had to say about his impression of Moss.
Well, I think he continues to work to become a professional. I really do, Sal. He's just a rookie, and so we have to manage expectations, and he's got a lot of work to do. That said, he certainly has shown in a short amount of time that he's smart, that he's physical, that he loves football, and that he's willing to be a team player, and that's really what we can say at this point. He's off to a good start, and as big of a piece as the running part of it is the blocking piece, and so that piece is an important piece in terms of picking up pressure and blitzes and whatnot. So you've got to be able to do that as well, and he's done it well to this point.
But in the end, the loss of Gore will hurt the offense to some degree, and it will be up to the young backs that general manager Brandon Beane invested in to carry a much bigger workload in the passing game.